Good morning, my friends. All right, so I thought it would be cool if we would read Chasing Lincoln's Killer together today. So I thought I would read it out loud. And if you want to watch this, you can. If not, that's totally up to you. In the background, you might hear Reese's tablet. Just kind of ignore that. He's sitting here playing tractors right now. So, all right, we are on chapter 9 on page 137. When John Wilkes Booth planned the assassination and his escape, he did not prepare for an extended campout under the stars. He focused on the need for speed, not camping in the forests of Maryland, cowering like a wounded animal, fearing that every noise meant the hunters were about to seize him. Traveling light had served him well in the first part of his escape, but left him unprepared for this unanticipated phase of the journey. He left Washington wearing the equivalent of a modern day business suit, unsuitable for camping out. Without a change of clothing, his garments quickly became dirty, ruining a key element of Booth's trademark, winning style. His beautifully dressed, well groomed appearance. He and Harold could not bathe or wash clothes, and unshaven, they looked and smelled worse each day. They looked like the fugitives they were. Their looks might even jeopardize their ability to receive a proper reception at the fine Virginia households they planned to call on across the river. So this is bothering Booth. He does not like to be unkempt, and right now he has dirty clothes on, he hasn't showered, and it's kind of bugging him. On the morning of Tuesday, April 18th, Jones paid his third call on the fugitives. With each visit, he risked arrest and worse. Soldiers had visited his farm several times and searched his house once. Jones handed over food and newspapers. Then they quickly left Booth and Harold alone again. Booth's curiosity about the country's reaction to the events of the last 4 days was limitless. Eager for the papers Jones had brought him, what he read stunned him. Whatever papers Booth read, they all condemned him for his heinous act. Even worse, Booth saw the beginning of a change in how Abraham Lincoln was viewed by America. Lincoln was transformed from a controversial and often unpopular war leader to a martyr and hero. Stories reported in the papers condemned Booth by name in the most unforgiving, vicious language. The accounts of the Seward attack stunned Booth. Had Powell gone insane? Yes, Seward had been a target, but the viciousness of the assault shocked and revolted Booth. Why had Powell attacked the sons, the daughter, the nurse? So, how is Booth feeling right now? He's unkempt, so he's upset with that. But now he's realizing that what he thought was a great thing he had done, people are not seeing that either. So, it's kind of bugging him. Booth searched the papers for the article he had written the day of the assassination. He had entrusted the letter to an actor friend who was to deliver it to the National Intelligencer for publication. Incredibly, not one newspaper published or even mentioned his letter, but he was wrong to think that the newspapers of the government was suppressing his letter. His friend, terrified of being connected to the assassin, never delivered the letter to the newspaper. He burned it. Do you blame him? No. Booth wanted to explain why he killed Lincoln. He opened his small date book. In hurried, cramped writing, he began his letter to history. He explained some of the reasons he had assassinated Lincoln. He longed for the South as it was and deplored the Union. He gave details about how he had committed the act. Booth was not the only conspirator shocked at what he read in the newspapers. In Elmira, New York, John Surratt read accounts that mistakenly identified him as Seward's attacker. Though John Surratt had been the conspirator in the kidnapping plot, he was not even in Washington on the evening of the assassination. Do you want to be seen? Sit up. There you go, my friends. Say hi to Reese. Say hi, Reese.
Hi, Mike.
Okay, now disappear. Now you made me lose my spot, dude. I guess I'm going to start on 138, where Booth searched the papers for the article he had written. The day of the assassination, he entrusted the letter to an actor friend who was. Oh no, we already read that. Oh my goodness. You made me lose my spot. Oh, I apologize. I'm on 139 at Tuesday, April 18th, acting on what was now a stale tip. A cavalry officer decided to follow up on the information about the mysterious strangers who stopped by Mudd's farm on assassination night. The soldier sent for George Mudd, but as a witness, George Mudd was useless. He only knew what his cousin Samuel Mudd had told him. The manhunters decided to pursue the lead to its source. The men mounted up, heading for Samuel Mudd's farm, taking George Mudd with them. When they arrived at the farm, the soldiers questioned first Mrs. Mudd, then Dr. Mudd. Samuel Mudd had plenty of time to concoct his story. If he behaved naturally and did nothing to arouse suspicion, all would be well. Mudd told the soldiers the bare bones of what happened. Two strangers on horseback arriving near daybreak. One had a broken leg, and he set the bone. The injured men rested in the parlor. The strangers did not stay long. He gave vague and general descriptions of the two men. One soldier asked if Mudd knew the men. No, the doctor replied. They were complete strangers to him. Mudd then attempted to send the manhunters on a wild goose chase, claiming the strangers asked for directions to a farm to the west. His story was full of lies and half truths. He had passed the point of no return. He had given aid and comfort to Abraham Lincoln's killers, and now he lied about it to protect them. So those manhunters finally arrived at Mudd's house. And instead of just saying, "Yeah, I knew him," he told them he had um, helped them, but he didn't know them. But in reality, he knew them. Please don't do that. The soldiers searched the barn and other buildings on the farm, but found nothing. After about an hour, the patrol left. If Mudd thought he had cleared himself, he was wrong. The lieutenant had decided Mudd was guilty of something, and he would arrest him sooner or later. In Washington, on the morning of April 19th, the most solemn day in the history of the nation, began with the president's funeral. On Pennsylvania Avenue, thousands of people jostled for a place from which they would see the funeral procession pass as if it left the White House. Six magnificent horses, drawing a carriage carrying Abraham Lincoln's coffin, made their way up the avenue. Every building lining the avenue wept with black crape. The procession rolled slowly, the beat of the march measured by drums, wrapped in crape. Lincoln's funeral procession was the saddest, most profoundly moving spectacle ever staged in the history of the United States. Thousands of citizens would wait for hours to view Lincoln's open casket with the dome inside the Capitol. Goodness. When the funeral was over, the president's body would be placed aboard a special train that would carry him home to Springfield. While tens of thousands of mourners viewed Lincoln's remains, detectives prepared to raid the Philadelphia home of the assassin's sister, Asia Booth Clark. They searched for the confiscated anything and everything connected to John Wilkes Booth, including documents unconnected to the assassination. Please stop. In the early morning hours of April 20th in Maryland, two teams of detectives were planning a raid that would take George Atzerodt. He had spent the last 4 nights in his cousin's place, not moved to flee by the great risk of capture he faced. Atzerodt should have known that detectives would have searched his room at the Kirkwood and discovered his connection to Booth. He had foolishly aroused suspicion when he made the unusual comments about the assassination over dinner at the presence of guests. One of the guests reported his statement to the local Union informant, who passed the tip along to soldiers who were now at the door of the Hartman Richter's place to pick up Atzerodt. We knew that was a mistake, remember? We told him, and we said that that was probably not the best thing he had ever done. When Richter answered the soldier's knock, the soldiers asked whether Atzerodt was there. When Richter said he had been there but had left, a soldier said he would search the house anyway. Richter then admitted that Atzerodt was upstairs. The manhunters found Atzerodt in bed. He surrendered without a fight, not even asking why he's being taken. Atzerodt confessed all. The man questioning him did not even have to apply pressure. Atzerodt told him many details about the plot to kill Lincoln, the kidnapping plot, the conspirators' final meeting on April 14th. He implicated Mary Surratt and Dr. Mudd. Now the War Department had its hands on two of the four men, Powell and Atzerodt, who were in the inner circle of the conspiracy. Following Atzerodt's arrest, Stanton issued a new proclamation. A reward was posted offering $100,000, an enormous sum, for Lincoln's killers. The poster included photos of Booth, Harold, and John Surratt, the most wanted men in the country. So now, my friends, we have two of them that are arrested. When are they going to get Booth and Harold? We'll have to find out. Have a great day, my friends.